Right, so I've got my laser on there. That's following that line, if I don't get in the way. And I measured that distance across there. There's 5mm in that, but the shape of the brickwork, I cut them both the same size. It was about the same, 5mm short, I think. So that needs to come out a bit, but I'll just pack that timber down there until this front one's plumb. So I'll measure from that point there down to that point, and I can make a frame then. Right, I'm just going to cut one of these legs. You see this end, nice clean timber, straight grain. Look at this end, big knot in it. I don't want to be nailing or screwing into that, so I'll either trim that off or measure from that end and cut. I need 2 now. There's only that big knot in there, there's one there, little knot. 2 now comes there, which is nice clean timber. If there was a knot there, I'd consider trimming that end off and measuring from this end, or if that was a bit shitty, I'd trim that end so that this mark came to somewhere where there's clean timber, one or the other. But you don't want these at the end. as I expected. That wants to come out just a few millimetres, so I'll fix that in place, sort of ½ inch off this plasterboard so that'll all skim in. I'll fix that plumb, get that plumb this way, which it is already, but by the time I fixed it we'll see, but I'll check it, plumb that way. And when I fix that back one, I'll put some packers behind it to pull this one plumb. I was going to put a stud in the middle while it was on the floor. I could just nail it in from the ends then, but get in my way. Midway, drilling and fixing it there, back of it. I'll put one in after. Right, just need to fix this leg now. Packers, screws. I think I might get one up there into this lintel. That's a good fixing. One near the bottom there. I think I'm just going to stick one in the middle. So 5. So one in the top, one in the bottom. Then I'll fix the middle so that it's plumb. Then I'll work in between, make sure that's straight. So top, bottom, middle, then these two. So 6mm bit. I'm going to put 4-inch screws in. And some red plugs that are in my pockets. It fucking rebar, Anna. There you go. Right, so fixed middle, bottom and top. It's plumb. So now I'll just do these in between. Right, that back one got screwed to the wall on those 5 points I mentioned. I've doubled it up just so that this side has something to fix to. As you see, it's behind this wall, or flush with it. I put a central one in, some noggins on there. I was just going to put a central one. I was taught knee height, hip height, shoulder height, but so I was just going to put a centre one in, but these two will stiffen this column up. I've used offcuts, stand back a bit. I've used offcuts to make up that corner, partly to make it into like a pillar, but also the door lining just going on here. There's no more timber. There's a 3x2 going on that wall to build it out of it, but we're a bit tight for space. Washing machines have to go back in here, so just with a lining on there, 20mm lining, sliding door will be behind. There's 26-inch or 640 or whatever it is, 650. I need 600mm to get a washing machine in, like that. So doubling these up makes that into a column. But also when this lining goes on, it gives something for this board to fix to. You sort of do a similar thing anyway, you know, even if there was a wall coming off there. Right, those noggins going first. This one, let me just show you. These ones, I've got a very slight bend in the timber. See that little gap there? A slight bend in this. So you put these timbers in last, these noggins in last. You see I made it just a fraction short. So if I screw it, I can pull that leg in a little bit. You can use these noggins to push and pull that leg straight. I just put one screw in. I just wanted to say, you put them in first because you can't pull that in if this timber isn't fixed. You know, if it's bouncing around, you can't pull and push that. So you got to get a firm fix in to be able to fix back to or push off. Right, so I've got one to go up there, one at the top, one for the head, you know, at the top of the door. And then there'll be a lining around it, but I'm going to put the lining around when I've worked out the sliding door mechanism there. That's coming today, so I'll be able to measure off that, work out where I need to put my timbers. Right, so I just put that legging down there. Lots of screws in it. 2 into that lintel. It's only going into the breeze block. Big part of me said take this plaster off. Another part of me said you start knocking that plaster off, you know, cutting a channel of plaster off, you'll end up taking lumps off. So they'll leave it on side of B1. If you were building a stud wall in a room, you know, a dividing wall, would you chop a channel of plaster out, or would you just fix that stud to the wall? I think I'd just end up fixing it to the wall. So, right, so I've got to put another one in there for the top of the door for the lining to go on. It's a sliding door, so the 20mm lining that's going to go all the way around here, the door wants to go up behind. We don't want a little gap like that. You don't want your head, a little gap, and then the door wants to be slightly up behind. So 1981 door, that's the height, 1981. 20mm floor going on, there's quite thick sort of posh laminate going on, and plywood. That'll bring it up to the height of the skirting and the height of the bottom of the doors. So 21, 1981, that's 2 metres, 2 metres one. So 20mm lining. So if I put my stud, I might put it slightly higher, and then I can pack this lining a little bit, you know, if I need to. So if I put another stud in there, I've got 135mm there. So I might do something like this, but on the side, put a couple of things in, and then when I fix up, my head don't move. Right, so I've got my head there. It's a fraction loose. I don't want it tight because I don't want to push this now that I've, you know, spent time trying to get this plumb and all that crap. But obviously, trying to fix that in, you know, put screws in, it'll slip. So what I've done, I can balance that on there. Cut 2 little blocks. I'll fix these little blocks with a single nail in there, and I can screw up, and that little block will stop it going up too far. I went with a single screw, banging a nail in, I'll split that block. Sod's law says that. But you see, when I screw up there now, it's not going to go up. Don't know if I can show you that. There you go, look. Might put a single one in the middle. Right, so I think that's nearly it for that, at the moment anyway. Need to work out this track, that's coming later, like I said. Get the ceiling on first, then I can do that. And get it boarded. Right, so the track's arrived. It's pretty much as I expected. 55mm down, I can work out where that timber's going to go now. But I want to get this finished off. I'm going to cut it back to the nearest joist on both sides, then I can rebuild it. Because like I say, all this is crap. There's pipes up there as well, so don't know what I'm fixing to.